sit down, have a bit of water, maybe post a little on Instagram. If you don't know who or what account to tag, a good place to start is, once again, the Watches and Wonders Instagram account, where you will find posts tagging all the official exhibiting brands. And for this, I would recommend the little spot in between the lab, which focuses on technical innovations, and the photo exhibition featuring the work of Karine Bozin. And lastly, there are going to be quite a lot of us visiting today, Watches and Wonders, so a little patience and courtesy go a long way. There's a lot of us, as I mentioned before, and we may not be here for a long time, but we want to be sure that we are here for a good time. So let's go. Now, if you're here at Watches and Wonders, you love watches. There's no question about that. But a watch geek is a different kind of animal, and as a watch geek myself, these are my list of 5 brands that you should make the time to visit this year. First of all, Horological. This is a brand that calls itself a pioneer in hyper-horology, so their inclusion shouldn't be really any kind of surprise to anyone. Their star watch this year is the Excalibur Monovoltaic split-second chronograph, and good luck tearing yourself away from the vitrines, because it is simply mesmerizing. I know I had to stay there for at least 10 minutes. Also, I was waiting for people to clear away so I could get a good view of it, but be patient and you'll get there. Next on the list, Ulysse Nardin, the maker of the legendary Freak, is worth visiting, I would say, just for the booth design itself. I don't want to give anything away, no spoilers here, but you should definitely go check it out. And also discover at the same time the Freak 1, which is the latest version of this avant-garde timepiece. This is one for the connoisseurs. The Odysseus chronograph looks like a sports watch, but hides some serious technical prowess inside. I don't often like to use this phrase, but Lange & Söhne is one of those brands where if you know, you know. On to Ferdinand Berthoud. This is a legendary name which has been revived to bring us some exceptional and award-winning, by the way, chronometric timepieces. This year's Chronomètre FB2T is the final series of their first caliber that was launched in 2015. So if you want to get to know this movement, it's kind of a it's now or never kind of thing. Vacheron Constantin, which is actually the watch that we're looking at on the screen right now. This year it's all about the power and allure of the retrograde display. And I can already promise you that the traditionnel tourbillon retrograde, that open face, is going to be your next watch crush. Next, we have something for those of you who like seeing the touch of a master artisan's hand. We're talking about craftsmanship, we're talking small quantities, we're talking about an intimate approach to luxury. Hermès. Like, I kind of hesitated to put Hermès on this list because it's so obvious. Anyone who has even the slightest interest in craftsmanship is already intending to visit Hermès anyway. But you know what? I thought this is my list. I can put who I want. And then also I have 3 words for you. The Arceau Hermès story. That's all I'll say. Beauregard. Most people have never heard of this young brand founded by Canadian entrepreneur Alexandre Beauregard. His watches are characterized by handcrafted dials using semi-precious stones. But I honestly feel that more people should know about it. Stop by, say hi, tell them that Suzanne sent you, and you won't regret it. Louis Moinet. If you like animals, if you like puzzles, if you like tourbillons, then this is something for you. Here's the first time that you can have all 3 of those things in one watch, and it's the Savannah. I know I'm not giving a whole lot of details here right now, but that's kind of the whole point, because I would like you to go to their booth and check it out for yourselves. And trust me, I know I say this for every single watch, but it is worth checking out. That's why they're on the list. Next one, Trilobe. Another small and upcoming brand, this one based in Paris, but all Swiss-made. I said this was a list focusing on the intimate approach to luxury, and that, in a nutshell, is Trilobe. This year, their new watch is Une Folle Journée Diamant. And I'd say that's a pretty good description of the day you're about to have. And just for a little sneak peek of what the watch looks like, it's up on the screen right now. And you can expect some sparkling times ahead. Last on this list, but certainly one of the biggest names that you guys will have heard of, Van Cleef & Arpels. People think, oh, you know, they do jewelry watches, something for the ladies. Am I right? Do not make this mistake, I beg you. The automaton clocks are like experiencing some kind of mystical, magical, mechanical, horological fantasy world. And again, it's one of those booths that will experience quite a lot of traffic. So plan your visits, but make sure you hit this one. This next list is for the superstars of the watch world, the Tom Cruises, the Jennifer Lawrences of horology. Everyone knows them. So the thing is, do we really need this list? I mean, in my opinion, the answer is yes. First up, Cartier. Prepare to be dazzled, prepare to be amazed, prepare to spend at least half an hour at Cartier. Check out the Ballon Bleu Setti Vipont and feel your world start to shake. Chopard. You may already have heard that Julia Roberts visited Watches and Wonders this year with Chopard. What you may not have heard is that Chopard are renewing their dedication to sustainable materials. That's a couple of examples of their watches over there made in lucent steel, which is completely recycled. And I think is a big statement about how they intend to proceed from now on with regards to using ethically sourced, ethically mined, fair-traded materials. And if you ask me, that is a blockbuster initiative. Of course, Rolex. I mean, do I really need to explain the Daytona, the Yacht Master, the Sky Dweller, the GMT Master 2, the Oyster Perpetual? And now, the 1908. Check it out, because this is something different that most people are... You've probably seen it on Instagram, right? I mean, how many people have seen the Rolex posts on Instagram already and hoping to see it today? Show of hands? Come on, I know lots of you have done that. So that's definitely a must-stop. But again, plan your visit accordingly, because they will be seeing a lot of traffic. There will a lot be people hovering outside the vitrines trying to get a look. And a little patience is probably in order here, but definitely worth checking out. And I don't need to tell you that. Tag Heuer. This is the year of the Tag Heuer Carrera. And on the red carpet, we have the Carrera Plasma Diamant d'Avant-Garde, made with technology that will blow you away. We saw a taste of it last year, and it's back, it's bigger, it's brighter, it's better, it's a superstar. Go check it out. Now, horological icons. You guys recognize what that is immediately. When I say horological icons, you should know that I'm referring to the icons of the past, the present, and the future. You'll see what I mean in a second. Up first, Jaeger-LeCoultre. It's their 190th anniversary this year. They're not really talking about it because, you know, they're very Swiss and very modest. But, you know, if you pass by, say, hey, happy 190th birthday. And they were founded in, of course, as you know, 1833. Or you could do, like, a little mathematics to figure that out. Their iconic reverso is in the spotlight this year. The Hybris Artistica Caliber 179 gives you just a barest taste of the technical power and beauty this historic maison can offer. And I wish I had a video up here, because you should really see how that tourbillon like captivates the eye. But there's no better excuse than to invite you to go to the booth and check it out for yourself in real, because I assure you, the real thing is much better than a photo, even as big as it is up on screen. Next, Chanel. One letter, one number, J12. The new J12 Cybernetic is a 21st century reinterpretation of this sport chic bestseller, and I do mean bestseller, and introduces the collection to a whole next generation of watch lovers. Next up, Chapek. You may be saying, who? Well, I said earlier this was a list of past, present, and future icons. The Chapek Antarctique has been winning audiences over since 2020, and the brand's new Antarctic revelation is only going to increase their recognition. It's an open-worked, skeletonized version of the original Antarctic that first came out with a brush style. I think you guys are going to enjoy it a lot, especially if you also happen to enjoy seeing the watch movement and the mechanical aspect of watchmaking. Parmigiani Fleurier. I'm not a psychic. I can't tell the future. I can't predict anything that's going to happen. But the Tonda PF was one of the stars of Watches and Wonders 2022. And it continues to impress at Watches and Wonders 2023, especially with the Minute Catapult. And I feel like we can all kind of see where this trend is heading. I don't really need to give any more hints than that. Do check it out. And, well, you know, say, Suzanne told me to come here. It's gorgeous. And it'll be absolutely true. It is gorgeous. And you'll be saying it with 100% sincerity, I promise you. Patek Philippe. If I had to keep only one recommendation on this list, first of all, that would be super difficult. But secondly, Patek Philippe would be the last one to go. Their new Aquanaut Luce annual calendar was designed for the feminine wrist. But let's admit it, those of you who have seen it, and we've all seen it, we all want one. Next up. Retro glory. Who doesn't like a bit of nostalgia? I mean, we're all here because we're fascinated by a mechanical savoir-faire that's hundreds of years old. The past may be behind us, but that doesn't mean it doesn't continue to allure and draw us. Baume & Mercier. The Baume & Mercier Riviera was created in 1973, so happy 50th birthday to the Riviera. This watch was designed to reflect a leisure lifestyle. You know, weekends by the water, summer vacations, all that good stuff. It's been a long week, and I can tell you that this is starting to appeal to me more and more and more, especially if you step outside for a couple of minutes and experience the temperature we're having right now. Panerai. There's nothing more nostalgic at Panerai than the Radiomir case paired with the California dial. And this time, it's in green, absolutely stunning. And that aged, dark-aged brushed steel case. I'm a total fan, and I know lots of people are as well. If I'm not wrong, there's probably people already queuing up outside to have a look, but don't take my word for it. Pass by and verify it for yourself. Alpina. Alpina celebrates 140 years in 2023. It's a lot of birthdays this year. Well, I guess there's a lot of birthdays every year. But they celebrate 140 years in 2023. The Alpina Extreme is leading the festivities with a new integrated bracelet, bringing fresh elegance to their historic brand with the red triangle logo. Finally, on this list, IWC. Design is more than just aesthetics. Design is also about intention. Design is about functionality, something that we see in the work of designers such as the legendary Dieter Rams. Check out IWC's new Ingenieur, and you'll see some of those very principles in every single line of this watch. Lastly, we have something for the sports enthusiasts and the activity-driven members of our audience. I'm really sorry to keep this until right at the end, because you guys must be feeling kind of like impatient in your seats and wanting to get started on your tour of Watches and Wonders. But let's get started on this last list. Mont Blanc, up on the screen right now. Look at that gorgeous green dial. Their 1858 IC is inspired by the Mer de Glace on the Mont Blanc mountain. And I don't need to point this out, but there's obviously a very close relationship, a very close affinity with the Mont Blanc brand and the Mont Blanc mountain that they took their name from, were inspired by. Its rugged design of the 1858 iced sea. Now, I hear a lot of people calling it the iced tea, and it's true. They do sound very similar in terms of the phrasing, and you say quickly, oh, the iced tea, the iced tea, the iced tea. Well, this is one heck of a long, cool, refreshing drink, and I urge you to go refresh yourself, especially with this new green dial. It is simply mesmerizing. Bell & Ross. the Bell & Ross BR05 Green Gold. We're seeing a lot of green this year, and I'm kind of digging it. I think we can all get behind it because, as far as I'm concerned, green means go. And in this situation, in this particular example, go to the Bell & Ross booth to check out the BR05 Green Gold. Cyrus, the watchmaker who's actually behind the movements of this brand, is an actual genius. It's Jean-François Mongeon, and the nerds out there, the geeks out there will recognize his name immediately and say, I know this guy, I know what he's done, and I agree. He is an actual genius. Good call, Suzanne. But that just goes to show how we can have complex mechanics and sports watches kind of go together. In a sense, you can see how they were very much made for each other. The Klepsys Dice Lime Carbon, once again in green, and now with a luminescent bezel in carbon, which is impregnated with luminous material in terms of the resin, so that if you sort of flash it under a UV lamp for a very short period of time and then turn off the lights, you'll be greeted by some glow-in-the-dark party action. And, well, it's a Saturday, right? No one could do better than to have a party watch on a Saturday. Frederic Constant. You're going to be thinking, the watch he's going to be mentioning in a minute, the Tourbillon manufacturer, that doesn't look like a sports watch at all. Suzanne, what's wrong with you? I know I am a little ill. I have got a rather bad throat. I have taken quite a bit of codeine this morning, but I still have all my senses with me. This is not a list of sports watches. This is a list of watches that will get your pulse up and running, and with the in-house tourbillon whirling away at 6 o'clock, this watch definitely belongs here. I'm going to finish by one of the most impressive watches I've actually seen this Watches and Wonders 2023, and that's from Hublot. I was going to make a joke about ending things off with a big bang, but this watch isn't actually from the Big Bang collection. This is the MP, the Hublot MP13. MP standing for Masterpiece, of course, as you all know, fans of Hublot out there, holla. This is the Hublot MP13 Tourbillon Retrograde Biaxial, a watch that will spin you around and take your breath away. Not literally, I hope, but metaphorically, and will leave you definitely with something to remember from your time at Watches and Wonders 23. So right now, I'm not going to take up any more of your time, but I hope you've enjoyed these little series of guides sort of tailored to different tastes and to different sort of preferences that I put up for you. And without further ado, I encourage you all to go get up, leave your seats, and go discover. Thank you so much for joining me this morning.